Hi, in this video we're going to show you a way to find the power on count and the power on hours of your hard drives in Windows. And then we'll also show you how you could find some other things as well. So let's say you're curious about the state of your hard drive. You want to know how many times it's been powered on, maybe the temperature, maybe you think it might be on its way out and you want to see how long it's been running or how many times it's been power cycled. You could use this tool to do so. All right, so it's called CrystalDiskInfo. So there are two versions. There's an installable version, but it says that one will have some ads. You might be able to bypass that when you install it, though I don't recall. But there's also a portable version that doesn't require you to install anything. And that's what I have here. So it's just a zip file, then you extract it, and then you run the appropriate executable. So we have an older 32-bit one, a 64-bit one, and this one with the A for ARM processors. So you're most likely going to be using the one here, the DiskInfo 64. All right, so I already have this running here. So this computer has two hard drives. It has a C drive that's running Windows. So this is an older drive. It's probably at least 4 or 5 years old, maybe. So this is an NVMe drive. And this one here is a newer SSD drive. It's a SATA interface, serial ATA. All right, so going back over here, you can see the health status says 79% for the older drive and 100% for the newer drive. Temperature here is pretty good. Temperature here in the red for the composite temperature, which I believe is the overall temperature. All right, so let's go over this section first, then we'll talk about these raw values. All right, so up here we have the firmware version serial number, interface, NVMe Express, or NVMe, drive letter, the standard, what features. So this has smart and trim and volatile write cache. All right, so this one has 49,900 gigabytes of host reads. If you hover over, that's 43.8 terabytes of reads and 50 terabytes of writes. And it's been powered on 319 times for a total of 37,966 hours or 4 years, 121 days. So you can see it's pretty old there. And then if we go here, we have the same information, but this has some additional features that the other one doesn't have. And you can see the interface here, the drive letter, and this one has 29 terabytes of reads and 50 terabytes of writes, which is about the same as this one for the writes at least. And that's because this one's a data drive, so it gets a lot more action, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word. So therefore it has more reads and writes because it's just the overall data drive. All right, you can see this one here has 121 power-ons and 3,500 hours of power-on time compared to 37,000 hours of power-on time on this drive here. All right, so over here on the bottom, we have some other attributes with some raw values. So these are in hex right here. So for example, so the power on hours, we have 37,000 here. And if we go here, you can see it's 944E. All right, so if we open up the Windows calculator here, and then we switch it to programmer, you can see we have hex, decimal, and so on. All right, so what we want to do, let me shrink this over a bit here, get this off to the side. All right, so we were looking at power on hours, so 944E. Make sure we're on hex, type in 944E, and you can see the decimal value is the same as what we have here. All right, so for example, let's try this percentage used here, that's 15. So about 21% used. And that matches what we have here. All right, so 0 unsafe shutdowns. Then for example, we have data units read right here. So let's see if we could type that one out. Let's clear the screen here. That is 59D 685A. So that's 94 million for data units read. So you'd have to look up what exactly a data unit is, but there's 94 million of them. All right, so that's the raw values section here. So let's kind of check out some of these other menus up here. So you could save this information as a text or as an image. You want to do some copying and pasting, refresh it, auto refresh which drive, look at some graphs here. I don't find this super useful, but you might. Hide the serial numbers, keep running in the tray, startup options, alert features. So if you want to have it alert with a sound, let's say you leave it running and your hard drive's getting hot, you could have it send you an alert mail, which you'll have to configure, have it play a sound. Advanced features here. You want to see Fahrenheit, for example. So 143 degrees Fahrenheit, and this one is 78, so that's kind of warm here. So this one might be having some issues. You want to change your raw values here. So this might make it a little easier to read here, even though this composite temperature shows 335, which doesn't match here. Some of these other ones look okay though, so you'll have to try that and see what matches up there. All right, then we have some other options here. You want to see the physical drive ID rather than the letter. That did not change anything here. I actually never changed that setting, so I'm not sure if that's even talking about right here. All right, then we have some options here if you want to hide some specific information, workaround settings. You could open up disk management or device manager, change your theme, change your zoom level, and of course dark mode just like everything else. And you could toggle between your disks here, which you could also do from the arrows right here. All right, so as you can see, it's a pretty useful tool, but we just wanted to mention how you could use it to find your power on count and power on hours. And then I also think it's really useful for the temperature as well, because that could be very important if it's running hot like this one is here. All right, so I'll put a link in the description where you could download CrystalDiskInfo, and then you could check out your hard drive and see what's going on. All right, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.